The intern in the tube top, the IT tech in spaghetti straps, the office manager in those slightly see-through linen pants. They all come out of the woodwork on a day like yesterday when we're fooled into thinking that it's beach vacation week at work. Nancy Saperstone with Insight Performance has some guidelines on making sure that your wardrobe is warm weather ready. I'm so glad you're here because on a day like yesterday, we all go, I'm free, I'm free. And sometimes we mistake our joy about the weather for a no-holds-barred attitude at the office.
Right, definitely. I mean, people think it's warm weather. Okay, I can wear shorts to work. I can be, dressing appropriately. I can wear my sleeveless. So, yeah, we definitely need to set some guidelines around what people should be wearing.
Well, actually, I'm glad you brought that up because in some cases, I know that there are a lot of offices and where sleeveless is inappropriate. Yeah. I can still think of even my mother saying to me, you're not wearing sleeveless to church, that kind of a thing. Some places, open-toed shoes are not appropriate. In other places, you think, wow, that's no big deal at all.
Right.
So how do you know how to gauge what to do and what to wear?
I think in terms of the employer, they really need to set a policy. So figure out what that policy is in terms of, pants. Are you going to allow blue jeans or khakis? Shorts. Some companies still allow shorts.
And it's funny that you mentioned like jeans, khakis, shorts, because, I mean, we have a crew here behind the scenes that's constantly working. They're pulling cables, they're running from one side of the studio to the other, or they're out in the field doing the same thing. And so for us, it needs to be functional for a lot of the crew to work.
Right, and it may differ by department. So certain departments may allow a certain dress code that other departments don't, but you just need to be able to set the parameters. Don't assume everybody knows what's expected of them. So really set those guidelines and tell people.
And a lot of times people will say, oh, well, they should know. But a lot of times what you think is appropriate, what might work for you, may not work at the office.
Right. We all have different backgrounds and come from different, places, and so we all have a different view on what's appropriate and what's not appropriate.
Are some of the old school rules, I can just think of, being in school, and if you could touch your hands to the hem of your skirt, you were safe.
Yep. I mean, I think some of that definitely still applies. Okay. But even we're finding some companies are pulling back from the summer dress code because it just became so hard to police that in terms of, 6 inches above the knee, down to your fingertips. So some companies are just saying, you know what, we're sticking with business attire.
So across the board, what does it do for a business or a company's morale or climate when you're able to say, hey, Fridays are casual, or we're going to loosen the dress code in the summertime?
Yeah. We definitely do find it can be a perk to employees in terms of attracting and retaining employees, especially younger Generation Y employees. They're used to kind of the more casual, atmosphere, and so they want casual dress.
What do employers expect to see when you're walking through the door if you're on an interview for the first day? Should you err on the side of more conservative?
Definitely. I mean, we encourage everybody still wear your suit to an interview. I think that's really important, that don't assume that just because the company is casual that you can go in casual when you're going in for an interview.
Can you take some liberties, though, if there is no policy? What is an employee to do? Can you say, well, if I feel like I could wear this in front of my mother-in-law, I'm good, kind of a thing? Right.
That's kind of a good sanity check, is ask yourself, what would my mother think? And also think about, am I going to be taken seriously in what I'm wearing? You don't want your clothing to be what you're remembered for at work. You really want your work to be the standout. So if your clothing is detracting from what you're doing at work, then it's not appropriate.
I know that you were very careful about choosing your outfit today. You look great. Just one other question, just because I have you here. White before Labor Day?
I think in New England, it's a tough, what does Emily Post say?
Yes, very true. Nancy, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it. Gene, over to you.
All right. Thank you.